So welcome everyone to this month's webinar series. Tonight I'm having my health coach, Kelsey Ewing, who some of you may know already. She's going to help talk about how to prepare for the holidays. She's going to give some really good recipes and some websites that you can go to for recipes all throughout the year. And you don't need to be writing it all down right now because she's going to send out an email later this week with a link to all the recipes. So you can just sit back and watch it and hopefully get some ideas for your upcoming holidays. So I also wanted to let you know that please, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. And at the end, we'll open it up for questions. And also next month, since it is December, we're going to take the month off from a webinar and we'll be back with a new one in January. So we'll send out emails about that later as it gets closer. So with that, I will let Kelsey take over and go through her slide deck about everything she has to share with you.
Great, thank you, Dr. Ingalls. I'm really excited to go over this topic with you guys, the wholesome holidays and recipes and strategies for healthy eating, because if you're like me, who wants to stay on track with your health goals over the holiday season, it's important that you find recipes that you enjoy and other people can enjoy with you too. So let's get started. So a little bit about me is I am a functional medicine certified health coach. I've been at We Care Frisco for a little over 2 years. What I do here is I work alongside Dr. Ingalls to help patients reach and accomplish their health goals through integrating Dr. Ingalls' diet and lifestyle recommendations to meet their goals in a realistic and sustainable way. So what's on the agenda for tonight? What's on the menu? So first we're going to start off with the delicious recipes and where to find them. Then we'll head into strategies for mindful eating and kind of on the same topic go into blood sugar regulation tips and with a few other additional tips at the end / words of wisdom, and then at the end we'll open it up for questions. So like Dr. Ingalls said, if you have questions during this time, feel free to put them in the chat and then we'll address it. And also these slides will be available later this week when we send out the recap email. Okay, so let's get into the recipes. I'm really excited to share these with you guys. I have been eating these recipes for a few years now, and just to preface what's to come is I'm gluten-free, and so all these recipes are gluten-free. They are delicious and healthy, and they're also simple, quick, and crowd pleasers. So first off is my snack. It's winter rosemary nuts. I make this for myself and gatherings. This is a great snack if you're hosting and you want people to nibble on things while you're cooking. If you have a charcuterie board, this is great to have. And this will also make your house smell amazing when you cook it as well. So basically you get raw nuts and pumpkin seeds, and then also flaky sea salt, maple syrup, finely chopped rosemaries and cranberries, and then if you like it, pumpkin spice. And you'll mix everything in a bowl except the cranberries and bake it on a parchment sheet of paper and a baking sheet in the oven at 325 for 20 minutes. And then halfway through you'll rotate it, and then at the end when it comes out it'll be kind of like this bark, and you'll top your cranberries on it and let it cool, and then you'll serve it however you like, and it comes out like hot candy, so be careful. All right, so that was the snack. Next is homemade cranberry sauce. I started making this a few years ago when I saw how much sugar is in a typical can of regular cranberries. I used to be that type of girl. I would just do the easy route and grab the cranberry sauce, but actually I've learned making my own. It tastes so much better because of the orange juice and orange zest that's in it. It just makes it more more flavorful to me. And it makes a lot. Like typically I make way more. I just make it for myself and I end up having to throw half of it out. So if you're making this and you want to make a little bit more healthier version of cranberry sauce for you and your family, I guarantee you that this will be eaten up. So All the instructions are on here, and I got this recipe from Paleo Running Mama. All right, next is my rosemary mashed sweet potatoes. I've been making these for a few years. This is the simplest recipe I have on here. As you can see, it's 4 ingredients, and it comes together really quickly. And I grew up with the sweet marshmallow, brown sugar, sweet mashed potatoes, and so I've wanted to keep that in the family, but kind of just going more on the savory side, and this is just as delicious in my opinion. So basically you peel and roughly chop your sweet potatoes, you boil them, and then drain them, mash them, and then you mix the other ingredients, which is finely chopped rosemary, sea salt, and grass-fed butter, and then you can put it in a serving dish of choice and add a little bit more of the toppings to it, and it's great. And this will be good with any other herbs too. If you're not a rosemary girl like I am, you could do thyme, oregano, sage, like all those would be really good in here. Okay, my last recipe I have is the honey balsamic roasted carrots. I made this a few weeks ago for Friendsgiving and it was a hit, so I thought I would share it with you. This is from California Cravings, spelled with a K. This is another really easy, simple recipe. The most time you'll spend on this is really peeling and chopping the carrots, and then everything else comes together really nicely. So once you peel and chop them, you'll mix it with a sauce made of avocado oil, balsamic vinegar, honey, some garlic cloves, thyme, salt, and pepper, and then you let that bake. And then when you take it out, you can drizzle it with the remaining of the marinade. And also, the secret to this is I enjoyed adding the goat cheese on top because that makes it a little bit creamy. And there's a lot of different variations of goat cheese out there. I did one that was a maple bourbon goat cheese, and so it went really well with the roasted potatoes or carrots. Okay, so those were some of the recipes I wanted to share with you guys. So next I'll show you where to find them. If you're looking for more, here are some great recipes that I've been using throughout the years. First is Paleo Running Mama. For those who don't know, paleo it follows a dietary restriction of gluten-free, dairy-free, and grain-free. But don't let that scare you. She has really great recipes. That's where the cranberry sauce is from. She also has really great alternative stuffing recipes. I've done this. This is a butternut squash, sausage, and cranberry, and I think some herbs in here too. Stuffing that was really good. She also has a lot of great baked goods as well. If you're a baker and you want to bake loaves or cookies or pies, she has a lot of great ones too. So this is a great website to go to, and then the URL is down here. My second favorite one is Unbound Wellness. She's the creator of this website. She's like me. She has Hashimoto's, and so she has to be gluten-free and dairy-free. But she makes everything come out really tasty, and hers are really simple as well. So she has, let's see, I've made these green beans before, really easy to put together. And just like Paleo Running Mama, she has a lot of great dessert recipes too. I think she has a little bit more pies, and she has some good casseroles as well. So definitely check her out. And here's the URL, unboundwellness.com. Okay, so next we have Whole30, which if you know what Whole30 is, it's an anti-inflammatory diet, kind of an elimination diet that could be a lifestyle. And this would also be a kind of diet you would want if you wanted to go to after the new year. But she has a lot of great recipes on here as well. She has a great turkey recipe. This looks amazing. She also has a lot of casseroles and potato recipes. And this Brussels sprouts also looks really good. So if you're looking for kind of a little bit more refined, healthy diet, this is a great place to go to. Yes, Whole30. And Whole30 is where you do the diet for 30 days, and then you'll reintroduce one thing back at a time. So it's also great to see if you react to any food triggers. And you can learn more about that on her website, and she has a lot of great cooking books, recipe books as well. All right, my last recipe website is Eating Well. This I would say is it's not as restrictive as the other sites, and they have a lot of great recipes on here as well, especially the meats, and then there's some appetizers too, and here's the URL for that. So there's 4 recipe websites for you. I hope that helps with finding some healthy recipes for this season. So the next section is about kind of regulating your blood sugar and some mindful eating tips so you don't get that turkey coma after having a huge meal. And this also will help you stay on track with your health goals. And let's get into some tips. So here's some really simple tips that you can try this year. And once again, mindful eating is it's kind of just being in tune with your body and paying attention to those hunger cues so you don't get over full and, super bloated when you eat really fast, and just being kind of more present and mindful about the pace that you're eating. And here's some tips of how to navigate that. So savoring each bite, really focusing on the bite and slowing down and focusing on the details of the food. The next tip I do on a regular basis, because if you're like me and you're hungry and you see a hot, steaming plate of food in front of you, you're going to want to, eat that so fast because your brain is telling you, oh my gosh, we're starving. But this next tip is really easy to do, and it's a good visual aid, which is finishing one bite on your fork before loading up the next one. So when you eat your bite, you typically are just scooping up and ready for the next one after you swallow that bite of food. But what I would encourage you to do is to slow down, swallow that bite of food, and then go in and load up your fork for the next round. Kind of same thing as pausing between bites. It's just maybe setting your fork down, just being in touch with your body and trying to this allows your brain to catch up with your stomach to help recognize when you're full and satisfied. And the last thing is listening to your hunger and fullness cues. This will help with signaling when you're ready to be done. And I also would encourage you to limit boredom snacking and social eating. That is typically how we eat the most calories. So those are some tips for mindful eating. I hope those are useful. Okay, next part is blood sugar regulation. So some tips for how to avoid that huge blood sugar spike and that crash that causes our energy to just go flatlined, and then we end up sleeping like this cat over here. So some tips is staying active before big meals. I know this will be difficult to do because once you eat, you just want to kind of get in a cozy place and watch football and relax. But what I would encourage you to do is to go walk around the block with your family, go out and play football. There are scientific studies that show that even just doing 10 minutes of walking after a meal really decreases that glucose spike. Another tip is balancing your plate. So at We Care Frisco, we really focus on teaching patients to have a colorful plate that is balanced, that includes a healthy fat, a protein and fiber, as well as your carbohydrates. So making sure your plate doesn't just have mashed potatoes and rolls and green bean casserole, but it also has turkey and Brussels sprouts and other good things on there for you too. And a thing you can do to take that a next step further is to have a strategic eating order, and this will create a kind of barrier for when it's time to eat the glucose. It'll kind of sift through this mesh barrier and slow down that glucose spike, which is filling up on non-starchy vegetables first, like a salad. The salad has fiber, and then the dressing has healthy fats that will help slow it down. And then moving on to your protein. And then maybe if you have a vegetable side like the sweet mashed potatoes or carrots or Brussels sprouts, and then ending it with the carbs, because by that time you have filled your digestive system with fiber, healthy fats, and protein, and created that barrier that by the time the carbohydrates come by, it won't have the same effect as if you just started with the carbohydrates. And then the last thing is using a continuous glucose monitor. So we use continuous glucose monitors here a lot at our practice because it's a great learning tool to see how your body not only reacts to food with blood sugar, but also sleep and exercise, and it teaches you steps for the future as well. And we pair it with an app called Thea that interprets the data in a really user-friendly way, and I'll talk about that next on this slide. So some of the benefits of using a continuous glucose monitor is real-time tracking. So it allows the sensor that you have on your arm, this is what it looks like. It stays on your arm for 2 weeks, and it continuously measures your glucose instead of doing like the finger prick and having to do it at each event or circumstance. This is continuously real-time tracking. Next is it helps you create smart food choices. The insights of the Thea data will give you really cool data like seeing your best scoring foods versus your worst scoring foods, and it allows you to make lifestyle changes around that too. It helps with blood sugar control because you can track trends, and it's convenient for long-lasting use because each sensor lasts 2 weeks, and typically you'll start off with 2 sensors, and so you'll have a whole month of learning about your blood sugar, and it's really interesting. And then lastly, you'll get personalized health data for you that can last a long time and see how your body reacts to your blood sugar. And if you're interested in Thea or you want to learn more about it, we have our link right here that you can go to and learn more, and you can sign up if you'd like to get started with that. Okay, and then lastly, my last tips or wisdom before you go is this season is about joy, connection, and comfort. So if you gain weight during this season, just know that it is okay. Give yourself grace. This is a time where we spend meaningful moments with family and savor traditions. And so I just encourage you to give yourself some gratitude and self-compassion. And then January rolls around and you get back on the wagon and continue to strive to meet your health goals. Don't let that get you down. So I wish you the best of luck on this holiday season, and I'd be curious to know if you guys make any of the recipes that I showed you tonight. But I hope you enjoyed, and I will open it for any questions if we have any.
Yeah, that all sounds great. One tip that I might add that I do personally is after Thanksgiving, I like to do Prolon, which we didn't really have that in here, but I probably told a lot of people about Prolon one-on-one in our office visits, and you can always just Google Prolon, but I find that's a good tool that I like to do maybe the week after Thanksgiving if I feel like I indulged a lot and I kind of want to reset. They've got a 1-day reset or a 5-day where you can really get into a deep fasting mimicking diet. And that's just a way that I can control my weight over the holidays. And then in January, I usually do it again. So it's just kind of a tool that I use to keep it under control so that I can still enjoy Thanksgiving, and then I know that I have that tool in my back pocket if I need it, if I feel like I overindulged or anything like that. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
just
great tool.
seeing
And
if
like
there's-
Dr. Engel said, it's a 5-day fasting mimicking diet. So it comes in a kit with snacks and soups and other good things, and you eat just what's in the kit, and it tricks your brain into thinking you're in ketosis and fasting. And then you'll experience not only physical benefits of possibly losing weight, but also the mental benefits of mental clarity, more energy, and things like that. And so if you're interested in learning more about Prolon, please reach out to us, and we'd be happy to get you set up with them.
And the other thing I love about Prolon is by day 4 or 5, all of my pain goes away, like my joint pain, aches and pains. I just feel like it's just a really great reset. So we've got someone on the chat now, and she said she's wearing a CGM now, and what's involved in your program, and is it for patients or anyone who signs up? Is there a fee? So I know that you can integrate an outside CGM onto the Thea platform. Do you know how to do that?
I don't think we've done that before, but I believe that you can do that. You just have to pay for the application of Thea, which is $99, and that will get you connected with that platform to have the insights with the data.
All right, so you can reach out to Kelsey maybe tomorrow if you want her to walk you through that, or you can go to the Thea, what is it, theahealth.ai
Yeah.
website, but you need to use our link to get it under our
Yeah, I
program.
can include
So,
the link right now.
okay. And yes, there is that $99 fee, but that gives you access to their AI technology and platform, and it's a 1-year membership. And so once you're on their Thea platform, later throughout the year, if you want to keep ordering your own continuous glucose monitors, it gives you a standing doctor's prescription to go in there and order it whenever you want, and then they ship it to you. But you still have the option to order it or have a doctor send it to your pharmacy if you think it's cheaper that way, or if your insurance is covering it that way. You can do it that way and then just integrate it back into Thea.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then can you do Prolon if you are a diabetic?
Well, it depends. I think yes, if you're type 2, because they have a lot of long-term studies with diabetes, and it's mainly type 2 diabetes. I don't know about type 1. I would have to ask the company. But I know type 2, they've been able to reverse diabetes by using Prolon, but you have to do it consecutively. Like, one Prolon kit is not going to cure diabetes. It's got to be at least once a month for 6 consecutive months, and during that time you would continue to get your hemoglobin A1C checked, your blood sugar checked, and monitored throughout that time. And then if you get to your goal and you get your hemoglobin A1C normalized, like out of the pre-diabetes range, like the optimal would be 5.3 or less, then you can drop down and maybe do Prolon every other month or once a quarter, as long as your sugar doesn't start going back up. And you also need to be making the diet lifestyle changes in between Prolon sessions. So, I mean, it's not like a magic bullet. You still have to do the work in between kits, but they do have studies showing that if you do it consecutively, it makes a huge difference.
Great. Well, I hope that answers your question, Carol.
All right. Well, if y'all have any other questions that we didn't answer, you can call us tomorrow or send us an email at info@wecarefrisco.com, and we're happy to give you more details or send you links that you need.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Kelsey. That was all very informative. And like we said, we'll be sending you the email with all the information later this week. So thanks for joining, and have a great night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night.